You know, some films don't begin with grand scenes, but with a quiet, uncomfortably familiar moment. This story opens exactly like that. We see Hiroki and Yoko sharing a simple meal and talking about a dream they've cherished for years. A small apartment of their own, not luxurious, just a place that feels stable, cozy, and worthwhile. Hiroki is calm, steady, the kind of person who believes that patience and consistency will eventually pay off. Yoko, on the other hand, carries a quiet urgency. She's thoughtful, proactive, always calculating how today's choices might shape tomorrow. The chemistry between them isn't built on grand declarations, but on shared glances and unfinished sentences. The first emotional shift came when Yoko lost her job due to company restructuring. She didn't see it as a failure. She saw it as a change. Their conversations were careful, respectful, sometimes awkward, but always sincere. As financial pressures increased and the cost of living rose, their dream of owning an apartment began to seem distant. After Hiroki's parents pass away, the couple moves into his family's old house. The house is worn, imperfect, filled with memories and responsibility. They decide to look for ways to renovate the house, even with limited resources. Her worries about the initial cost feel very real, relatable, and easy to empathize with, especially for viewers going through similar stages in their lives. Hiroki doesn't dismiss her anxieties or pressure her to move forward. He listens. He reassures her without downplaying the issue. His encouragement isn't about money or results. It's about belief. Belief in effort, in time, and in each other. We are drawn to what is at stake because it is personal, human, and authentic. The film builds a solid foundation on empathy, reminding us that uncertainty precedes maturity, and that courage is needed to move forward together before stability is achieved. Yoko begins researching renovation plans with a calm determination. She measures rooms, compares materials, and reaches out to her former workplace for advice. None of this is framed as desperation. Instead, it feels like preparation, a way of reclaiming momentum after losing her job. The film uses these scenes to subtly educate the audience on resilience. When one role disappears, another can emerge, not through force, but through adaptability. Hiroki neither imposes decisions nor retreats. He asks questions. He listens. He carefully weighs the risks. In many ways, he represents emotional stability rather than authority. As renovation estimates come in, the numbers are higher than expected. The tension here is not about fear, but responsibility. Yoko worries not just about money, but about burdening the relationship. This emotional layer adds depth, reminding viewers that financial stress often disguises itself as guilt or self-doubt. The film handles this with care, never framing Yoko's concern as weakness, but as awareness. One quiet evening, Yoko pondered her choices. There was no dramatic background music, no loud arguments. Instead, the weight of the moment was conveyed by silences. She understood that difficult decisions don't always come with a clear answer. Sometimes they come through repeated conversations, gradually refining understanding. The excitement of the film comes not from external events, but from internal alignment. Slowly, Hiroki and Yoko begin to see the renovation not as a financial gamble, but as an investment in stability and shared purpose. The house shifts in meaning. It's no longer a reminder of what they lack, but a canvas for what they can build. They don't romanticize the struggle, nor do they rush headlong into risks. Instead, they respond to reality. They plan modestly. They prioritize safety. This conveys an important message, especially to younger audiences. Ambition doesn't require recklessness, and maturity doesn't need perfection. Yoko begins to regain confidence, not because her situation has improved, but because she feels supported. Hiroki's encouragement isn't framed as saving her. It's framed as standing beside her. When the home renovations begin, each improvement, however small, carries emotional weight. A repaired wall, better lighting, a cleaner space. These changes reflect inner progress, reinforcing the idea that tangible effort can restore hope. The film captivated the audience not with ostentation, but with sincerity. We are reminded that excitement doesn't always come from big wins. Sometimes it comes from consensus, from choosing to move forward together despite unanswered questions. This reinforces a core lesson. Progress often happens in small steps, and when shared, it becomes sustainable. The house begins to look different, but more importantly, so do Hiroki and Yoko. Fatigue sets in, not dramatically, but in subtle ways. Long days feel heavier. Decisions take longer. There are moments when uncertainty resurfaces, especially when unexpected issues appear during the renovation. Yoko doesn't rush to find solutions or dismiss concerns. When problems arise, her first reaction is presence. Yoko always listens before reacting. One particularly powerful scene focuses on a simple routine, the couple talking together at the end of the day. There's weariness in their gestures, but also a quiet cooperation. No dialogue is needed to convey trust. This scene reinforces the idea that shared responsibility strengthens relationships, not through grand gestures, but through consistency. The house is improving, yet what truly changes is how the couple perceives their future. Yoko begins to speak with more clarity about her ideas, no longer second-guessing her worth. Hiroki, in turn, expresses appreciation more openly, not as reassurance, but as acknowledgement. The dramatic tension here is subtle yet significant. It lies in the risk of emotional withdrawal, a common reaction to prolonged stress. When Hiroki notices Yoko becoming quieter, he initiates conversation with her. This gentle display of concern can prevent deeper misunderstandings. Financial limitations still exist, and the film never denies that reality. However, they no longer dominate the emotional narrative. Instead of fear, the dominant feeling becomes responsibility shared. The story demonstrates that while circumstances may remain imperfect, the way we interpret them determines emotional outcomes. As the renovation nears completion, the house begins to feel lived in, not polished, but honest. Through mutual respect, patience, and shared effort, Hiroki and Yoko demonstrate that strength in relationships is built over time, through everyday choices that prioritize understanding over control and partnership over perfection. There's a quiet sense of calm that replaces earlier uncertainty. Hiroki and Yoko don't celebrate with grand gestures. Their satisfaction comes from routine, from shared meals, from moments of rest that feel earned rather than borrowed. Hiroki and Yoko acknowledge their journey not as something they survived, but as something that strengthened them. As the final moments unfold, the house stands as a symbol of collective effort, not a destination, but a foundation. This story isn't just about a couple renovating a home. It's about rebuilding confidence, redefining stability, and choosing partnership over pressure. When life becomes difficult, love doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be patient, present, and shared. If this story resonated with you, take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who might need a little encouragement today. Your support, helps us continue bringing thoughtful, meaningful stories that inspire growth, understanding, and connection. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.